I used to think ghost stories were for other people who wanted to believe in the supernatural, or people desperate for attention. But what happened to me on the island of Dolls in Mexico changed the way I look at the world forever. My name is Alex Turner. I'm a 32-year-old travel vlogger from Chicago. My life revolves around searching out the strangest, creepiest, most forbidden corners of the globe. I've slept in abandoned asylums, wandered through empty ghost towns, and filmed in forests where people claim the shadows move. I always prided myself on my nerves. But the island of Dolls broke me. It began as a dare. My subscribers were obsessed with the legend and island in Xochimilco, just south of Mexico City, where hundreds of old dolls hang from the trees. Some call it the most haunted place on earth. At first, I resisted. I have a thing about dolls. Even as a kid, those lifeless eyes freaked me out. But curiosity and the promise of viral content finally won out. I booked a small private boat with a local guide named Mateo. He was a serious-looking man in his late 60s. His skin weathered, his eyes dark and distant. As we floated through the ancient canals, the city noise faded, replaced by birdsong and the gentle slap of water against the boat. The air was warm and heavy. The water smelled of earth and old secrets. At first, the journey felt almost peaceful. Vibrant flowers floated by on other boats. Kids laughed in the distance. But as we traveled deeper into the canals, everything became quieter. Even the sunlight seemed weaker, filtered through a tangled net of tree branches. When I asked Mateo if he believed the stories, he answered, without looking at me, "The dolls are there to keep the spirit calm, to protect us. Some things are better left alone." I tried to laugh, but my voice sounded forced. After about an hour, the boat turned a sharp corner, and there it was. The island of Dolls. I felt a physical chill. I'd seen photos, but nothing prepares you for the reality. Hundreds of dolls, some missing limbs, others with cracked porcelain faces, some burned or melted, hung from every tree and post. Some were lashed up by the neck, others by the arms. Many had their eyes open, staring in all directions. Even in the daylight, it felt like walking into a nightmare. Mateo slowed the boat. "You have 15 minutes, he said quietly. "Don't take anything. Don't disturb anything." He tied the boat to a post, and I stepped onto the soft, muddy ground. Immediately, the air felt different. Still and heavy, almost hard to breathe. I started recording on my camera, forcing myself to narrate like everything was normal. "Hey guys, I'm finally here on Isla de las Muñecas. This is honestly the creepiest place I've ever seen. Let's look around." I tried to stick to the path, but the dolls were everywhere. Some hung so low, I had to duck beneath them. Their plastic hands brushed my face. Their hair was matted with dirt and mold. I heard buzzing flies, bees drawn to something sweet and rotten. I kept walking, the ground squelching under my boots. I stopped by an old swing, where 3 dolls sat side by side. Their heads lolled to the side. I zoomed in for a shot, and just as I did, I swore I heard a tiny giggle too soft to be a bird. I spun around. Nothing. My heart thudded in my chest. "It's just nerves," I told myself. "It's all in your head." But as I walked further, the feeling of being watched grew stronger. I turned off the camera, needing to hear what was around me. The silence was heavy, broken only by the soft creaking of dolls shifting in the wind. But there was no wind. The air was completely still. I stopped at the old caretaker's hut, the story's heart. Inside was a shrine, a cracked photograph of a little girl, melted candles, and dozens more dolls, their faces blackened by time. The air smelled of wax and decay. That's when I heard it. A soft, scraping noise behind me, like plastic fingers dragging along wood. My skin prickled. I turned and saw a doll hanging just inside the doorway, its head spinning slightly on its string. I stared at it, frozen. Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my leg. I jumped back, nearly tripping. I looked down. There was nothing there, no stick, no animal, just a patch of dark, wet earth. But my calf stung like I'd been scratched. I tried to pull myself together. I walked outside, scanning the trees. The dolls seemed to lean toward me, their faces twisted by years of sun and rain. For the first time in my life, I genuinely wanted to leave. I hurried back toward the dock. As I did, I heard a sound that stopped me. Called a child's voice, soft and plaintive, calling, "Help me." I know what you're thinking. Maybe another tourist, maybe a trick of the wind. But the island was empty. I called out, "Hello, is someone there?" But my voice sounded small and weak. Suddenly, every doll on the nearest tree seemed to shudder at once. I swear on my life, I saw their eyes flicker, mouths twist into tiny, mocking smiles. I stumbled backwards, tripping over a route. My camera slipped from my hand, landing in the mud. As I scrambled to grab it, I heard a faint, rapid clicking like the chattering of teeth. I looked up. The dolls were swaying, though the air was dead still. I felt a sudden, freezing chill run through me. The whole island seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy. I grabbed my camera and ran. As I reached the dock, Mateo was standing, staring at me with wide, frightened eyes. He said nothing, just pushed the boat off with shaking hands. We drifted away in silence. As soon as we were 100 yards from the island, the air seemed to clear. I could breathe again. Mateo finally spoke, his voice a whisper. "Did you see her?" I nodded. I couldn't speak. I felt a lump in my throat and a burning in my eyes. When we reached the main canal, I looked back. The island was already disappearing into the mist. The dolls looked small, almost innocent from a distance. I wondered if I'd imagined everything. But that night, back in my hotel, I reviewed the footage. My hands were shaking. Most of the video was normal. But as I scrolled to the part where I dropped the camera, my blood ran cold. For just a split second, there was a shadow behind Mia, small figure with dark dripping hair, standing in the doorway of the hut. As the camera jostled, the shadow moved unnaturally quick, like a film played in reverse. In the next frame, it was gone. I tried to sleep, but every time I closed my eyes, I saw those dead eyes, heard that pleading voice. I woke up sweating, convinced there was something in my room, hiding in the corners, watching me. I cut my trip short. I left Mexico the next morning. For weeks, I had nightmares. Sometimes I woke up to find my camera on the floor, though I always left it on the desk. Once, I found a single doll's arm dirty and cracked on my windowsill. I can't explain how it got there. I never posted the footage. I deleted it all. I still get messages from subscribers, asking why I never shared my Island of Dolls video. Some think I chickened out. Others think I'm making it up. But I know what happened. I've been to the scariest places in the world, but nothing compares to the Island of Dolls. There are places where the veil between this world and the next is paper thin, where the dead cling to what they've lost, desperate for someone to listen. If you're ever in Mexico and you think about visiting the Island of Dolls, do yourself a favor. Don't. Some places are haunted for a reason, and some things follow you home. To this day, when I close my eyes, I see hundreds of dolls swaying in the darkness, waiting, whispering, always watching.